Hi, in this video, in this quick 3 to 5 minute video, I'm going to show you exactly how I took my agency from 10 to 35K per month in the span of 2 months. Now, that being said, I can show you my dashboard as of this month, September, did around 10 and a half to 11 grand in net sales on Stripe, as well as my other payment processor, which is Ignition. In September, we did around 25K, excluding direct bank transfers. That being said, though, I'm making this video not to toot my own horn. I'm doing this to hopefully help a few people who are maybe at the 0 to 15K, 10K month mark of their plateau for a bit. I do want to showcase maybe perhaps the top 3 things that helped me break through the 10K per month mark to get to 35K per month in the span of 2 months. So the first thing that really helped me was paradigm. Is first of all, the way I think and the way I see the entire agency model. I think definitely after going through speaking to a couple of people, the number one thing that differs from someone who's earning 100K a month versus someone like myself around 35K per month is their paradigm on the agency. Well, in this scenario, will be around client acquisition. So if you're an agency who's doing around 10 to 15K, 5K versus someone who's doing around 35 to 40 to 50K, they have a lot more data to go through to kind of figure out what is working and what isn't working as well in their agency. And as a result, they're able to operate on that feedback and make improvements quicker than someone who's kind of around this mark, around 0 to 15 to 20K per month mark. In addition to this as well, if you're underneath a certain benchmark, even right now, under anything under 30K per month, rather than thinking you have a client retention issue, you have completely a client acquisition problem. So anything underneath 25 to 30K per month, you should be, I think, primarily focused on client acquisition, focusing your time on kind of the next 2 things, which I'll go through. But essentially your belief in the first 2 months is to focus purely on client acquisition, whether that be cold calls, cold SMS, cold looms, emails. Your goal mainly should be focused on client acquisition. Second of all, the thing that helped me the most is paid ads. By far, this is the biggest needle mover. Once you run paid ads, if you know, you know. When you're sitting out at 10K per month, you're doing cold calls every day, you hate your life, you want to unalive yourself. You are speaking to people who don't even know that they have a problem. So you're wasting a lot of time jumping on calls, trying to get them to even show up on calls to sell them in the first place. And even if they do jump on the call, it's a lot harder to sell them as well because they are barely problem aware, or maybe one in every 100, 200 that you eventually hit someone who's actually solution aware. That being said, though, the conversation completely changes once you run paid ads, once you run an offer, a solution to someone who actually has a problem. Once you do that, the dynamic completely changes and you can focus purely on running ads, service delivery. Doing this single-handedly will solve 80% of your problems. Well, that is kind of what it solved in my case. It freed up time in my day to focus on service delivery, essentially get back time in my day to run the agency, focus on operations, hiring VAs, all that stuff. This is, in my opinion, the golden ticket. This is the golden ticket right here. If you don't have, whilst I'm not saying that it's not possible to run a successful agency off any cold outreach, outbound, organic, if you want to get to your goals ASAP quicker, if you want to get to 35K, or 50K, 100K, 150K per month, the quickest way to get there, in my opinion, is to do paid ads. Obviously, there are a lot of variables within this, but I would say this would be the number 2. Number 3 is niche. So just like in anything, focusing on one thing, one service, one model, one agency, one avatar, you are less spread thin across different services, different people. For example, not doing websites, not doing SEO, not doing Google ads, only focusing on one niche helps a lot in terms of focus. Yeah, one onboarding process, one proposal, one pricing term, one form of service delivery, which makes it a lot easier to fulfill as well. Other than that, that's my top 3 things that helped me get from 10 to 35K per month in the span of less than 2 months. And I hope that was helpful.